and the Chiefs kingdom has firmly planted its flag on top of football's highest summit.
All right, so the victors go the spoils. Everyone else trying to figure it out. Let's run the hurry up. Burning quarterback question. Swagoo, will Dak Prescott and the Cowboys arrive at a deal? And if they don't, should he hold out?
He should hold out, G, if they don't arrive at a deal. And if it's $3 to $4 million separating them, go ahead, Jerry. Do what you know you need to do.
Yes, he doesn't have to sell a car or anything to be able to afford Dak Prescott. We'll have more on that a little bit later. Meanwhile, Graziano, where's Tom Brady going to wind up?
Boy, we don't know, and I don't think Tom does either. But there are a lot of options, like the sunshine of L.A., the bright lights of Las Vegas. You could go to San Francisco and take Jimmy Garoppolo's job, make Dan Orlovsky very upset. There are a lot of ways it could go, including back to New England. I'm going to pick the Chargers right now, but it's just a guess.
Orlovsky, how about the Packers?
I'm going to be very interested to see what they do at the quarterback position with Aaron Rodgers. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is going to be 37 next season. When he was drafted, he's older right now than Brett Favre was when they took Aaron Rodgers with the 24th pick. They had the 30th pick of the draft this year. You can get the quarterback and lives that fifth-year option on the table. He did not have his best season, as people have pointed out. I'll be interested to see if the Packers flirt with potentially taking his heir apparent at the end of the first round.
That would be history repeating itself. Laura, what's your burning off-season question?
Who takes Tua in the draft? And here's the thing. We know it's going to be a risk for whoever decides to make this decision, but I believe that he will be fully healthy or at least close to it. And so it's maybe going to be the Dolphins at that fifth spot if he even lasts that long. But to me, the draft begins with that third spot, which is currently owned by the Lions. Do the Dolphins need to trade up to get him there, or does some other team come out of the woodwork and try to get Tua Tagovailoa? I think whoever gets him will be getting a really good gift at that spot.
All right, and so those are all obviously fascinating questions as we head into what should be a very impactful offseason. I'll throw in one more, because I've heard a lot of talk about Kansas City and the possibility of a dynasty. And look, when you have a great coach like Andy Reid, who's still only 61, plenty of time left, and an all-time great player already in Patrick Mahomes, I understand that it makes sense. But to me, the big question is, will Patrick Mahomes completely reset the quarterback market? And if he does, how will that impact the Chiefs' ability to keep the key pieces that they may need to keep a dynasty together? I've said a million times, I have a problem with a system that limits how much a great player can and should make. But the reality is the system is the system. And in the entire history of the sport, there has only been one dynasty that has existed in the salary cap, player free agency era. And that happens to be the one in which the quarterback, Tom Brady, routinely took less money than he could have. Now, Brady has a lot of extenuating circumstances. He played a long time. He makes $1 trillion off the field, and he happens to be married to a woman who has more money than he does. All of those are in the conversation. But that's the reality of it. And if you look at all the other quarterbacks after they win Super Bowls and all the other guys who've made all of this money, Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, Tony Romo when he signed his deal, McNabb when he signed his deal, none of them come back and win. That's the reality of the situation. So the question is, are they going to do a new deal with Mahomes during this offseason? And if so, will it hamstring them otherwise?
At some point, he'll reset the quarterback market. This offseason, it's possible they do it, but they have to get some other things in order first. And the key thing for people to understand is they don't have to do it this offseason, and neither does he. They have the ability to, he's got a year left on his contract, the fifth-year option for 2021, franchise tag for 2022. The Chiefs can keep him for a long time without having to do a new deal. And he may want to wait for Deshaun Watson and Dak Prescott to come in and see how high they get that bar and come over top of it. But to your second point, look, they got Chris Jones, going to be a free agent, extremely important player in the Super Bowl. Travis Kelce, very underpaid at tight end with 2 years left on his deal. They have other business to take care of. And if they don't get that taken care of first and know what the cost certainty is on a lot of those players, then they would be making a mistake, I think, to just go ahead and do the Mahomes deal that they are not under any time pressure to do.
I think Patrick Mahomes is going to end up taking less money on purpose. I don't think he should, but I think he is going to take less. I want to share a story. So break down these plays, right? Oftentimes I break down these plays, whether it's at home on the laptop or on your show. And when I post them on Twitter, on social media, I tag the person or the team that's part of it. And I've done a dozen of Patrick Mahomes, and I've tagged him every single time. He has never once retweeted his own video. 6-7 weeks ago, I did a tape on breaking down Tyrann Mathieu. And naturally, I tagged Tyrann Mathieu. I do not tag Patrick Mahomes. And a couple minutes later, all of a sudden, I see that Patrick Mahomes has since retweeted that video. Again, never once retweeting his own video, but then retweeting a teammate's video. So I was like, that's a little bit different. That's very cool. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to try to DM this guy. So I DM him and I said, listen, man, I don't know you. Huge fan of your game. I found it very interesting that you did this and very cool that you did this with the teammates around Matthew. And he responded back to me, listen, I just want to be myself and my teammates matter more than I, and I want to win a bunch of championships. And so I just think that this kid gets it. He gets the big picture of it all. He understands how important he is to that franchise, both on and off the field in monetary value. And I think he's going to sit there and go, I'm going to take a little bit less for the sake of our team.
Extenuating circumstances. I would tell Dak, don't take less. I would tell Pat Mahomes, do what you feel. Because when he is going to be, if not already, the face of the NFL. So Pat Mahomes legitimately can justify saying, I'll make another $30 million off the field, like Tom Brady has done for a long time. When you become the face of the biggest sporting thing in the world, you can do things in a non-traditional way. With that being said, he needs to make sure he gets his 200.
Yeah, I loved your story. It's great, but he's not taking a discount. There's just no way. Like, he's going to be the top of the quarterback market, no matter
agents
what.
want to be a big part of that as well.
Yeah,
Well, the agent works for the player. If the player said take a discount, he would certainly do it. But I don't think that's.
Yeah, but
the mindset
also
here.
every quarterback always says, like, I got to get the next big deal because I got to help out the next guy. One of my friends who's next in line. But I also think, and Laura, you said this point before, there is no one next in line in the Patrick Mahomes conversation.
I will just give you a few numbers that Hembo gave me to wrap up the conversation. No quarterback in the last 20 years has won the Super Bowl if he was in the top 5 in the NFL in cap hit. No team since 2000 has won the Super Bowl with any player commanding 15% of the salary cap. That's what's happened over the last 2 decades, and it isn't a coincidence. By the way, once again this year, we will have coverage from the NFL Scouting Combine at Lucas Oil Stadium, February 27th through March 1st. NFL Live will have reports